Hi guys, Al Smith here. Welcome to another defense lesson. Today we're going to talk about suit preference signals on your first discard. All right. Your first discard is going to occur when you no longer have any cards in the suit that's led. Okay, so you're out of those particular cards. So you've got to throw away something. So what this does is give you the opportunity to tell your partner what suit you would like led to you. Okay, now that's a little bit trickier than what it sounds because you really have to examine your hand, the cards and dummy, review the bidding, and determine what would be best, what would be the best suit to be led to you for you and your partner to implement the proper defensive strategy. Okay, there's several different signaling methods that are available. Okay, a lot of controversy over which is best. I'm going to teach you one that I think is best. Now, it's important though to understand what the others are because if you're playing defense, you need to be able, or if you're the declarer, you want to be able to read your opponent's signals. So you need to be able to interpret what they're telling each other by the cards that they're playing. So the one that is used the most is called high-low. It's also called standard. And the reason it's used the most is this is the first signaling method that is taught to most beginners because people think it's the easiest. Well, I don't really subscribe to teaching the easiest because once you get in the habit of using something, to start using something different, which is better, sometimes can be very difficult. Bad habits are hard to break. Okay, in the high-low method, if you play a high card in the suit, it says, hey, I like this suit, lead it to me. If you play a low card, it says, I don't like this suit, find something else. Now, there's two problems with this. One, if you have to play a high card until you like the suit, many times you're going to have to throw away a card that you want to keep. That's bad. Okay, when you play a low card, it doesn't give you partner specific information. It just says find another suit. It's supposed to be intuitively obvious if you look at your hand and look at the dummy, but many times it is not. Those are two very serious defects with the high-low suit preference signaling system. Okay, one of the things that evolved first signaling systems that evolved after high-low is called Laventhal. And it works a little bit differently. What you're going to do is discard from a suit that you don't want. Okay, so you've decided you don't want to have this particular suit led. Okay, and if you play high from that suit, it says lead the higher ranking suit. If you play low, it says lead to me the lower ranking suit. Now this one corrects several of the problems in the high-low, and that now you can point to the specific suit that you want led. Remember, there's only 4 suits. So if you're out of one and you play from the suit that you do not want led, high would say lead the higher ranking suit, low would say lead the lower ranking suit. This is actually much better than the high-low method. However, there is still a difficulty here in that what if you have just low cards or just high cards? Okay, you do have 2 ways of signaling which suit you want. Okay, but you may not have the right cards in your hand in order to implement the signaling system. So what do? Well, I guess you just punt. All right. The third method is called odd-even. Okay, and odd-even gives you, again, a little bit more capability. Laventhal, you only had one suit that you could play in order to tell that you could play from. In odd-even, you've got 2. And let me explain this. Is that if you have like the suit, you can play an odd card. It says, please leave that suit to me. If you've got an even, it says you don't want that suit led. Okay, now it actually odd even gives you two ways of signaling because it says odd and lead it to me, even don't lead it to me, and even is pointing to a different suit. Now, the weakness with odd even is that the even card you're playing doesn't necessarily tell you which suit you want played. So what has evolved is we take the best part of Laventol, we take the best part of odd even, and we put them together, and we end up with something called odd even circular, or sometimes it's called odd even Laventol. And what we're going to do here is we're going to have three different ways of signaling to a particular suit. Okay, and let me explain that. Okay, if you play an odd card from a suit that says, "Hey, I like this suit, lead it to me." If you play an even card that's low is pointing down to another suit. If it's playing a high, even is playing up, pointing up to another suit. Now it's a little bit more complicated than that, and I'll explain that on the next slide. But it gives you three different ways in order to point to the suit that you want. Really, really increases your chances of being able to communicate clearly to your partner. Now, does it always work? No, I've actually probably out of about 1 out of 100 instances, you'll run into the situation that you just can't figure out how to signal your partner the suit that you really want. All right. Now, one of the other advantages of this is that the signaling system works with both suit against both suit and no trump contracts. So the one that I'm going to teach you is called odd even circular. It's the one that I recommend. It's the one that I use. All right, let's look a little bit more at how odd even circular works. Okay, remember, odd, if you discard an odd card from your suit that you want led, it says, I want this card led. Now, the challenge here is, again, you may not have an odd card from the suit you want led. That's one. And two, you may not want to discard the odd card, let's say a 9 in your hand, because it has potential value in the future. It might even be a winner. So you go, well, I don't want to discard that 9. So what do you do now? Okay, so the clearest signal is an odd card because you get your partner, it gets ingrained in your head, and your partner discards the 3. You go, that's my partner wants that suit led. Okay, now it gets a little bit more difficult when you're talking about the even. All right, now a low even points to the next 6 suit down in the continuum. And well, what's a continuum? Just think of it as being spades, hearts, diamonds, clubs, spades, diamonds, hearts, clubs, spades, diamonds, heart, club, or a circular arrangement of the suits so that clubs, a low club points to spades, a high spade points, even spade points to clubs. So it goes around this way or around this way. Okay, as an example, a low even club points down and around or around to spades. Okay, so that's kind of a little bit hard to get into your brain. It was a little bit hard to get into my brain, but after a while, it gets kind of natural. So a low club, the even club, points down to spades. A high even card in a suit points up to the next suit in the continuum. For example, a high even spade points to clubs. A high even heart points to spades. A high even club points to diamonds. So pretty easy. All right, now here's where it gets a little bit more interesting. Okay, your even card, high or low, can point through the suit that you're out of. For example, a high even club points through diamonds, if diamonds is trump, to hearts. Okay, this is where you can see it gets a little bit sticky. You got to have this image of which suit you want to point to. So let's say the 10 of clubs, if diamonds is the suit you're out of, points to hearts. Okay. Now, in a suit contract, We also eliminate pointing to the trump suit. We're going to point through the trump suit. So let's assume that hearts are trump and you play a high even diamond. That points to spades because it points through hearts, because we're not going to ask our partner to lead trumps. Okay. Now, let's look at it again. Hearts are trump, and you discard a low even spade. It points to diamonds because it's pointing through the heart suit. Okay, now, as you can imagine, you could actually end up pointing through two suits, the suit you're out of and the trump suit. So we'll see some examples of this as we go through the lesson and in the shark bridge sample hands. Okay, now before we get into some examples, okay, it's really important to understand what your objectives are in your first discard. And this is, you want to tell your partner and your opponents what you want to tell them. Okay, you go, well, what does you want to tell them? Well, okay. Generally, you're going to be telling your partner what you want led. Sometimes you're going to want to lie to your partner and to the opponents to deceive them. For example, if you have the king X of a suit in front of the ace queen, you definitely don't want to tell your partner to lead it, because it's going to lead it. It's going to create a natural finesse into that ace queen that's behind you. However, if you don't have the king, you might actually want to tell your partner that you want that suit led. Now, if your partner's got the king behind the ace queen, he's going to understand that was a fib. You're lying to the opponent. So there are instances where you want to deceive the declarer into thinking that you have something that you don't have. Okay, so just want to point that out. Lying is okay, but you want to use it judiciously in those situations where it's actually going to give you a defensive advantage. Okay, now you want to communicate what is the most important thing that you want to communicate. For example, if you have the ace in one suit and ace queen in another suit, which suit do you want to signal that you want led? Probably the one with the ace queen, especially if that's sitting behind the king. Okay, because you can then, if your partner leaves that suit, you can take the queen, take the ace, and then take the other ace. So look at your hand and determine in what sequence you want to see the hand played out and how that's going to affect your suit preference signal. Okay, and that gets into the also determines and allows you to control the sequence of events of what things you want to have done first. Okay, now the other thing is that suit preference signals apply to both partners. Okay, both partners are going to get suit preference signals. Okay, and there are instances where partners are going to give a suit preference on the same trick. Okay, you're both out of the suit at the same time. Okay, however, generally one partner is going to give a suit preference signal before the other. All right, now what that does is going to give you more information to help you determine what suit you want led to you. Because your partner says he wants spades, that may change what you want to tell your partner. So you have to pay as much attention to what your partner is signaling you as a card card you're selecting to signal to your partner. One of my problems is I pay a tremendous amount of attention to what I want to tell my partner, and sometimes I forget to pay attention to what my partner is telling me. So, it's a two-way street. So you really have to pay attention to what you signal and also to what your partner signals to really define the defensive strategy that the two of you want to mutually implement. Okay. Now, as I said, you have to adjust your story based upon information that you collected. For example, if you find out that the player is out of a suit that you wanted to have led, you no longer want it to have led. You no longer want it to be led to you because the declarer is going to rough the trumpet. Now, there's some other things here that help you in terms of determining what suit you want led. And one of the things that you really have to watch out for and learn is to look at the dummy and review the bidding to determine what suit that you have to keep or maintain parity with. For example, if the dummy has the ace, jack, 10, X of the suit, and you have the queen and 3 little, okay, you want to make sure that you do not throw anything away from that suit, because you may enable the declared vehicle set up and run that suit. So you have to keep parity. You have to keep that defensive strategy in mind. Okay, remember that you have to look at the dummy, really analyze the dummy, see how your cards fit, and determine whether you can throw away a card in that suit or not. You also have to remember the auction. What it really comes down to is don't discard an important card. All right, let's look at a couple of examples here. And let me set the stage here to begin with. We've already played 5 tricks. Hearts are trump. All right. Okay, and the declarer has decided that he's going to lead the 6 of spades to finesse the hoped for king of spades in your partner's hand. Okay, so he can set up the queen. His goal is to set up the queen of spades as a trick. All right, so he leads the 6 of spades. Your partner wins with the king. This is the first time that you're out. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to give your partner a suit preference signal. You have no spades. So you look at your hand and go, well, I've got ace, queen, diamonds. And you look to your right and say, well, that dummy's got the king. Fantastic. I want a diamond led. And you look at the cards you've got. You've got the ace, queen, 10, 6, and go drat. I don't have a odd card to lead. So you say, well, what card should I lead? And you look at your clubs, you've got the jack, 9, 7, 4, and you go, oh dear, the jack, 9, and 7 are all odd. We don't want to discard those because it would tell our partner that we want a club led. And you go, aha, I have an even card. Now, it's the 4. And you go, well, if I discard the 4, what that does is point down. Okay, so look at the 4, points down or around to spades. Well, spades is a suit you're out of, so obviously you don't want that suit. And hearts is trump, so it points through hearts. So that 4 of clubs in this particular situation points to diamonds. Now, let's just assume, hypothetically, that you had the 3 of clubs. All right, now you got a real problem. This is one of those rare situations where you don't have a card to point to the suit that you want. So I really don't have an answer for you. You're going to pick something and or punt to try to communicate that information to your partner. Okay, and I don't really have a good suggestion. You might just go ahead and play the jack of clubs to give your partner the impression that you don't want clubs, but it's going to be a guess by your partner. But I just want to point out that's a situation that it does come up. It doesn't work all the time. 95% of the time it does. Okay, now your partner gets the signal after he wins the king of spades. He leads the jack of diamonds, and the dummy covers with the king. You take the ace, you play the queen. Okay, what you've got now is the capability of then leading the 10 because you've surrounded all the honors are gone. You're going to take 3 diamond tricks to probably set the contract. Now let's assume instead of the 6 of diamonds, you have the 3 of diamonds. The preferred signal would be the 3 because it's odd. Okay, and it cuts down on the mental machinations your partner has to go through to figure out what you want. All right, let's look at another example. This is going to be pretty much the same. This is the 6 is going to be led at trick 5, and hearts is going to be trump again. And again, it's the same situation where they're trying to finesse you. And the purpose of this example is for you to see how different signals are going to be used. Okay, now this is in a no trump contract. Okay, so there is no no trump signal. So it's the same situation. In this case, you're again going to use the 4 of clubs. It is going to point through spades to hearts. All right, and I'm going to just punt on this. All right, on this particular example, we have the 6 is led as trick 6. This is a no trump contract. Again, we're going to take the king, and our partner wins with the king. Okay, now in this particular case, you have nothing. Okay, all the hearts have been played, and you have no suit that you want to have led to you. So what you're going to do is you're going to tell your partner that you want a suit led that it's obvious that he can't lead, or is obvious that has no value, that it's impossible for you to actually want it. Let's assume that you're signaling for the lead of suit where the dummy has ace, king, queen, jack. Okay, it is illogical for your partner to lead that suit. Okay, so there are situations where, in essence, your signal is not conveying what suit you want led, because the suit you're signaling you want led is logical. It's conveying to your partner that they're on their own, that you have nothing that's going to help within the defense, and they have to formulate the best strategy based upon their hand and move forward. That's what we're trying to communicate with this particular example. All the hearts have been played. Okay, it comes around to you, and you play the 9. Okay, your partner goes, well, I don't have any cards. They've all been played. It's obvious that my partner does not want hearts led, and therefore he has no value. So at this particular point in time, your partner is probably going to shift to the king of clubs to try to establish a club winner later on. All right, let's look at this particular situation. It's an example of where you can lie to your opponent. Okay, and in this one, the 10 is being led at 6, trick 6 by the declare. Now, obviously, it could also be a card could be being led from dummy or your partner's hand, and you're out of that particular suit. This is the first time the hearts are being led when you don't have it. So you've got a heart void over here. Now, in this particular case, both you and your partner are out of hearts at the same time. Okay, the hearts were split 4, 3, 3, 3. The declare ended up with the 13th heart. It is leading it. Now you both have the opportunity to give a suit preference at the same time. Okay. Now, Your partner signals with the odd 3, asking you to lead a spade. Okay, and you look at your hand and go, well, I see the dummy's got the queen, and I've got the king. The underlying assumption is that your partner is going to have the ace. From the declarer's perspective, what the declarer is going to assume is that your partner has the king. Okay, what your partner is doing is lying to you and lying to the declarer. All right. Now, when it gets around to you, you play the odd 3 of clubs, saying, hey, I've got something in clubs. You don't want to ask for spades to be led because you're looking at this and saying that the declarer probably has the ace. So if your partner leads a spade, they're going to finesse you. All right. So let's see how this works. All right. The declarer, being observant, sees the signals and decides that your partner has the king of spades. And he then is going to say, all right, I need to set up my queen. What I'm going to do is I'm going to finesse your partner for the king. So he's going to lead low to the queen, and your partner is going to play the 2. He plays the queen to finesse it, and lo and behold, you take it with the king. Okay, and you win the king of spades when you should not. Okay, so what this does is give you the capability to fib between you and your partner, okay, to deceive the declarer, all right, without it costing you anything. All right, let's go ahead and progress to the shark bridge and look at the sample hands. Okay, get on here, enlarge this. Okay, we're in hand number 1. So let's go ahead and examine what's going on here. So, all right, let's review the bidding on this hand. Your partner opened 1 heart. Okay, that north is your partner. North opened 1 heart. Remember that. East overcalled 1 spade. You really don't have anything you want to say. You don't have hearts. And you're thinking about diamonds, but you don't have enough points to bid at the 2 levels, so you pass. West plays, bids 2 spades, and the contract gets passed out. So you're in the position of making the opening lead. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let you see both the north and the south hand. We're going to discuss what's going on here. So let's look at this for a second. You may, first of all, in terms of have to make the decision on what suit to lead. Now, your partner bid hearts. Okay, that's a request for you to lead that suit. Okay, in terms of the lead priority, remember if your partner has opened or overcalled a suit, that's almost 90% of the time you're going to lead that suit because your partner has said, hey, I got something in that suit. So what we want to do is undo that. What we want to do is we're going to pick the 8 of hearts to lead. Okay, we want to do that because that's the suit that our partner has requested us to lead. So we lead the 8 of hearts. Okay, and it comes around, our partner plays the king. All right, now our partner knows that probably we would have supported hearts if we had 3 of them. So the odds are we started with 1 or 2. He said, okay, very high probability. He plays the ace of hearts. Okay, now it comes back around to you, and you go, well, what suit do I want led? Well, spades is trump. You don't want to have that led. Clubs, you don't have anything in it. Well, you do have this ace of diamonds. Okay, so how do you signal that you want diamonds led? All right, we do that by picking an odd card in that particular suit. Now, we actually have two choices, and we can afford to pick one of those two cards. Which one you pick does not matter. Okay, it's just that it's an odd card. So we decide that we want to deceive the opponent a little bit in terms of what cards we have. So we play the 5. Okay. Okay, so that helps to keep the opponent from getting a correct count on the hand. All right, and the declare plays the 10 from the dummy. Now, the opener, your partner, has an exact count of the hand now. He knows you're out. He knows 7 have been played. He looks at the dummy. That's 2 more. That's 8, 9. So he's got 3 left. He knows that the declare has 1 more heart. So what he's going to do now is he's going to make his lead for you to trump something. Okay, and this is actually a suit preference, a situational suit preference lead. Okay, we'll talk about those next week. What he's going to do is he's going to lead the 7 of hearts. Okay, the highest heart that he has. Okay, and the reason he's leading the 7 of hearts is he wants to point towards. What he's going to do. What he's going to do, he's going to lead the 7 of hearts. He wants to lead the 3 of hearts, pointing to diamonds, that he wants diamonds led, okay, which is suit next. No, he's going to lead the 7. The 7 of hearts, which points to the higher ranking suit. All right, so by leading the 7 and you being observant, and knowing that he's pointing to the higher ranking suit. The higher ranking unbid suit is diamonds. So he's led that, it comes back around to you, and you're going to trump the trick. Okay, so you trump the trick. And now what you're going to do is says, aha, I started with 6 of diamonds. I can see 2 over here. And I'm going to do what my partner requested. I'm going to lead a diamond. You lead the ace of diamonds and come around. And now you lead another diamond and your partner ruffs. Okay, you can see something developing here. And your partner says, I can see that heart. I know where that other heart is. We're going to make the declare a ruff. Now, look at this. This is called an uppercut. The declare now must trump with the ace or king to win the trick. If he does, he develops your queen because it's guarded. So we're going to assume he says, okay, I'm going to trump with the 10. So you over trump with the queen. Okay. And you really are nasty to everybody today. As you lead the 4 diamonds and he goes, oh crap, I'm going to trump with my highest one here. And your partner overruffs with the king. Isn't that wonderful? I mean, you've taken the first 6 tricks. Okay, and the declare is already down 1. All right, so and at this particular point in time, your partner leads the king of clubs. Okay, we're not going to take any more tricks, but because we were effectively communicating with each other, we took the first 6 tricks and set the contract. Let's go on to the next hand. Okay, in this hand, with the bidding is again the same. Okay, and the logic is going to be pretty much the same, but we have to look at how we want to signal. In the first, the first example, we were able to signal with an odd card. We had odd cards available. Let's look at what we've got in this situation. Again, we're going to lead that 8 of hearts. The 9 gets played. Our partner takes the king again. Okay. And again, the same logic continues to suit and comes back around to us. Now what do? Okay, we've got no odd cards in diamonds. How do we tell our partner we want a diamond? The way we're going to tell our partner we want a diamond is to play a low club, to play an even club. Now, does it really matter which even club we play? In this case, no, because a high even club, let's say the 10, that would be the clearest signal, would point up to diamonds. Okay, that's the clearest because it's adjacent, it's pointing up. A low even club would point down to spades, which is trump, so we point through trumps, to hearts, which is the suit we're out of, which would point to diamonds. Now, in this particular case, we can afford to play the 10 because it has relatively no value. However, if you really wanted to maximize the probabilities, you would play the 2 of clubs because that 10 of clubs has some potential value. Okay? It might force something out of the responder's hand. You see the Jack 9 over here? If we play the 10, those all become equals. So what we want to do is actually protect that 10 of clubs. Okay, so we play the 2 of clubs, and it points down to spades, around through spades, through hearts to diamonds. Okay, and that is the way that we can signal for a diamond, preserving a card that has potential value, so our partner knows to leave that we want a diamond when it's our turn to play. Okay, now our partner, knowing that the hearts are still out, is going to give us a rough. He leaves a heart, we rough it. He knows that there were 2 left in the dummy and 1 left in the player's hand. Now, because he led the 7 is the highest outstanding card, and he's actually giving us a situational suit reference signal by leaving the highest. For us to rough says, return to me the higher ranking suit. The higher ranking suit between clubs and diamonds is diamonds. So we say, aha, we're going to take that ace. And we can see that the hand unfolds exactly the same way it did before. Okay, but that's how we use the cards to communicate. Let's look at example 3. This one, pretty much the same again. Okay, and it has basically the same characteristics. So let's take a look at how we're going to signal this time. What I'm trying to do with these examples there, these example hands, is they're very much the same, but they each have a little bit different twist in terms of what card you're going to signal. Okay, in this particular case, we lead the 8 of hearts. Okay, again, the partner takes it with the king. Okay, and he takes the ace and comes back around to us. Now what are we going to use to signal? Okay, we have no even odd cards and diamonds. We have 1 odd card, clubs. Before we had choices, now we don't. So we're going to play the 2 again, and again that points down to spades and around through hearts and back to the diamonds. And that's where the difficulty lies, is we have to be able to follow that circular track. Okay, the hand's going to be played out exactly the same, but I wanted to give you this particular example of where you only have 1 choice. Now, if you only have 1 choice, it actually makes it easy, but it's sometimes a little bit difficult for your partner to figure out what you're actually asking for. But if they think about it, it will become clear. All right, let's look at example number 4. In example number 4, we have the same type of you get your partner open 1 heart, and the opponent did 1 spade, you pass, and the responder jumps to 4 spades. Okay, got a great hand. Let's go ahead and just look at all the hands. Okay, jumps to 4 spades because he's got a powerful hand. All right. Now, in this particular situation, you're again going to lead the heart. Okay, and he covers it. Your partner jumps up there with the king, and you can see that that you've led the card. He's hoping that you're going to be out or have only two. And it comes back around to you. Now, what do you want to do? Okay. You don't have any real trick-taking capability outside of roughing the hearts. Okay. So what you want to do is tell your partner that you don't have it. Okay. How are you going to do that? Okay, so what you want to do is tell your partner that you do not have anything that is of value. So what you're going to do is actually signal with the three of diamonds. Okay, whoa, look, there's the ace, king, queen, jack of diamonds in the dummy, and your partner's looks and says, hey, there's ace, king, queen, jack of diamonds in the dummy. My partner's either gone totally crazy, or he does not want to have diamonds led and doesn't have any outside values in his hand. That's what he's communicating. I'm on my own. So let's see what I want to do now. He says, well, I want to give my partner a rough, and at the same time, I want to tell him to lead a club back. Okay, so he says, I can do that by playing my lowest heart. The lowest heart says, if you get the opportunity to lead back to me the lower ranking suit, which in this case, between diamonds and clubs, is clubs. So he leads that five of hearts because he knows that we're going to be able to rough. Okay, and we do so. And we have paid attention, and we know that our partner has signaled with his lowest heart, because we paid attention to what spots had been played. And we said, aha, our partner wants a club. So we lead the jack of clubs, okay? And the dummy plays the queen, our partner plays the ace. Okay, so we've taken got back to our partner. All right, now our partner says, yeah, I see that over there. Maybe my partner's got one more spade, and leads the six of hearts. Now, there are many times when the opponent's on the declare is not paying real close attention to what's happening, or just makes a dumb mistake. Let's say that they trump with the three of spades. Okay, you can overruff and you get another trick. Okay, but an intelligent declare is going to look and say, hey, I've got the ace, king, the queen, jack, the 10. I've got plenty of high trumps, so I can protect myself from being overruffed by playing the 10, which is what the declare is going to do. Okay, and in this particular case, again, you're going to reinforce to your partner that you don't have anything left. You're just going to play a diamond. We're not going to get any more tricks in this hand. Okay, because they're going to lead out trump, and then they've got the high club and all the diamonds. No, we're not going. We've actually set this contract because we took the first four tricks. Now, if we weren't able to communicate, we might not get that club trick. Now, the other alternative, if we go back and look at this hand, is instead of leading that third heart to be trumped, our partner might make it a lot easier on us by just going ahead and leading that ace of clubs immediately. Okay, that way we've got three tricks, and then lead the heart for the setting trick. And if he takes that particular approach, it doesn't really matter which card he leads back, because he knows we're going to be able to rough if we have it, and we set the contract immediately that way. That's actually the better line to play, although we could have used the signaling method to tell us that we wanted the club back. But whenever you can make it easy for your partner, in this case by the north taking that ace of clubs and then leading the heart back for us to rough, that's what you want to do. Let's look at hand number 5. Okay, we've got basically the same situation again. One heart, overcard, one spade, and jump to 4 spades. Okay, we're going to make the same lead. Our partner asked us to lead a heart. We're going to lead a heart when our partner asked us to lead a heart. So we lead that 10 of hearts. Okay, it gets covered again. It comes around to our partner. You know, we kind of get bored doing the same thing over and over again. But the intent of these sample hands is to let you see how you use signaling in very similar type of hands to distinguish asking your partner to do one thing or the other. So in this case, you leave the ace of hearts back. Okay, now what do you want to do? Okay, you really don't care which suit you have. All right, now the suit, as you look at the dummy and at the in terms of the ace, king, queen, there's ace, queen, ace, nine, 5 over here. What suit do you have the potential most value? It's clubs. All right. Okay. Now it does matter because you got that jack, 10, 8 of clubs. If your partner leads a club to you, okay, you can at least insert the 10 forcing the ace. So you do have something in this hand. Not real great, but you do have something in this hand. So what you're going to want to do also is you're going to want to signal with the 3. It says, please lead the club to me. Now your partner goes, okay, I've got the king. My partner's got something over there. It could be the queen, could be the jack. Now, at the same time, the declarer is going to see that signal. And now he may think that the king is over here or the king jack is over here. So it makes things a little bit more difficult for the declarer to determine what he should be doing in the future. Okay, but your partner is going to, at this particular point in time now, is going to lead the 5 of hearts, the lowest pointing to clubs. All right. And now for us to ruff, comes back around and we ruff with the 6 of spades. So our partner's lead said, lead me back a club. So now we have to figure out what we want to do. Okay, so a partner gave us a positive. We can see the ace of clubs in the dummy. So what we're going to do, because we've got 2 touching honors in this particular suit, is we're going to play the jack of clubs. All right, now, what does that do? It tells our partner that's our highest card in the suit, and we have 10. Guarantees the 10. We'll get into that later on. Okay, and now it's up to the declarer what the declarer wants to do. And more than likely in this particular situation, the declarer is going to go ahead and play the ace of clubs. Okay, and the reason he's going to play the ace of clubs is he's going to lead out trump. Okay, he's going to get the kids off the street. Let's do that real quickly so we can set the hand up. So he leads trump. He's keeping track of them. Okay, so all the trumps have been drawn. Now what he's going to do, he's got the good queen of hearts over here and 3 diamonds. He's going to go to the diamond. What he's going to do is he's going to throw off a loser on a loser. Okay, a loser on a winner. So he leaves that queen of hearts, and now he plays the queen of clubs. Okay, he's going to take the rest of the tricks in the contract. All right, let's look at the hand number 6. Okay, and this particular example, our partner opens 1 heart again. Okay, I'm just making it easy so you can determine what suit to lead. East overcalls 1 spade. West bids 2 hearts, which is a Q bid. It says, hey, partner, I've got 3 plus spades and 10 plus points. So East bids 2 spades. West limps along and says, hey, I'm kind of the max who bids 3 spades, and they limp into 4 spades. Well, what that does is immediately tells you that you've got the capability of potentially setting them. That they did not confidently bid 4 spades. Now, we've still got the same situation here. We're going to lead the 10 of hearts. All right. Now, it's not always going to be this nice, okay, where you have a singleton in your partner's good suit. So your partner takes it with the queen. Okay, when it takes it with the queen, that tells you your partner's got the ace king. Remember, we're trying to cobble together all of these different types of things that we've learned across the past 10 weeks. So we now know our partner has the ace king. Now, to reinforce that, our partner is going to play the ace because they played the bottom of the sequence, now the top of the sequence. And it comes back around. And what do we want to do? Do we want to, what suit do we want or don't we want? Okay, what we're going to do is because we've got that Jack 10, 8 of clubs, we're going to indicate that we have some potential in the club suit. Now, what we want to do is we really want to keep all 4 of those clubs. So what we're going to do is we're going to signal with the 6 of diamonds, saying we want a club. You go, well, we don't know whether this is a high or a low even, but let's assume that it's a low even. It would point down to clubs. If we assume it's a high even, it would point up through hearts, which is the suit we're out of, through spades, which is the trump suit, back to clubs. So our partner should be able to deduce that we want a club left. Okay, and it comes back around. Now our partner continues with the hearts, knowing he can take 3 tricks. Okay, then we play another diamond. Okay, and now we've got a situation where our partner goes, well, okay, I want a club, so I'm going to play my lowest heart that's available. And comes back around, and now the declare says, I've got to rough this, and he roughs high because he knows we're out. He says, I'm going to try to get the trump out. And we continue throwing away these silly diamonds. Okay, so we've thrown away 3 diamonds now. Okay, we're looking at the board. That ace, king, queen is not looking so good because we've got 4 trumps. So you can start to see how you piece together this jigsaw puzzle. Okay, and now what is the declarer going to try to do? He says, well, I got to get rid of these silly clubs. I've got a potential loser in clubs. So he leads the diamond, comes back over, takes the queen, and says, I'm going to throw away. Well, I can't throw away a club. So he says, I'm going to try the finesse, a finesse in spades. Okay, so he goes, leads a spade, low spade, comes around, says, I'm going to do it. The finesse north for the queen, plays the 10, and we take the queen. Okay, now what? Okay, we've got a 9, 8, 6, and we know the 8 jack is out. So we're guaranteed another spade trick sometime. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and lead the club. We're going to lead the jack because it's some touching honor, and our partners indicate they've got something in it. And we want our partner to know that we've got the jack 10. And by leading the jack, that guarantees the jack 10. Okay. Now the declare says, all right, I can either, I've got 2 diamonds, I've got 2 clubs, I've got a club loser. So I'm going to hope that South led away from the king of clubs, and he plays low because it knows he's going to lose a club trick unless he takes finesse. And lo and behold, our partner jumps up there with the king, and he's been paying attention and says, okay, what I'm going to do is go ahead and lead another diamond. I've seen my partner throw away 4 diamonds. Okay, and it comes around and says, all right, he plays that. Now I can rough in with that 6 of spades. Those diamonds aren't taking as many tricks as they bought. Can I still have the 9, 8 of trump? Okay, now I'm going to lead a club. They're going to be able to take the trick, and what they're going to do now is lead trump. and draw the rest of the trump. But they're going to be down 3 tricks because we were able to communicate back and forth. Okay, it's the whole process of defense is being able to use these various techniques and combinations with one another to communicate back and forth with your partner. Okay, when you do it properly, it's a joy. I just can't explain the elation because you go, wow, that was really cool. That was fun. Okay, when you screw it up, yeah, it's the agony of defeat. But this is the challenge to defense. All right, so we're going to conclude the lesson for today. And hopefully this was informative. You can really start to see how to use the defensive signaling, so attitude in combination with suit preference. Now we're going to have a couple more lessons on different types of signals in terms of situational suit preferences. You go, what's that? Well, that's when you think it starts out as attitude, but it turns into something else. So there's opportunities to clarify what these signals mean. We'll go through that next week. So have a great day.